missed out on butterfly habitat.
Oh,
This conference will now be recorded.
okay, we'll begin with the flag salute. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone.
I didn't make it up to.
Yeah. I was watching you and made me stumble.
Got you good.
I got my words all jumbled for a second.
I think they needed a longer pause before we started.
Okay, are we ready?
Well, he's been here for 35 minutes. He's just raring to go and just jump right into it. And here we go.
Okay.
So are we ready?
Yes, yes. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
We're setting that down.
I don't know about that.
Somebody had too many energy drinks this morning. We welcome everyone to the April 11th Marion County Commission meeting. We'll begin with the public forum. Is there anyone who would like to make comments?
We have no one online.
Okay, and there's no one in the room. With that, we'll move into agenda approval. Any additions or corrections to the agenda? I should say corrections. Any changes to the agenda?
The agenda in the packet has Road and Bridge on it. I'm not sure, don't believe it.
I don't believe Bryce will be here today, so we will probably not have the road and bridge item on the agenda. And county councilor will have a number of items under that. All right, if agenda's approved, we'll move into administrative.
That wasn't me making that noise. Okay.
While you're working on that, I'll do the information item. There's a town hall meeting coming up on Wednesday, the 13th at 1:30 Lake Hall with Tracy Mann. So we encourage any members of the public who are interested to attend.
We have change orders. You had a summary in your packet, but since then we've added a couple more change orders. So some of these are from some severed minerals that we have researched that should not have been taxed and were. And so we're trying to get those cleaned up before the tax sale. So we've been working on researching those. So here's 2 clips of change orders in the folder.
Tina,
Yes.
was these people from out of state been mailed a copy that there's been some changes made?
I'm sorry.
A lot of people from out of state, will they be notified that we made changes on the taxes?
If so if they've been paid, they would get a refund, which they haven't been paid. If, I don't know if the treasurer's office sends them out a revised bill.
Just to see if the address is still good.
So most of the time, these are all, like, I know the ones that Sharon was working on, we were helping the treasurer's office to research, and those were the delinquent ones that are on the tax sale. And some of them that we've removed shouldn't have been taxed, and they haven't paid their taxes.
Yeah.
So I don't believe we send them another notice.
So it says reverted back to owner, is that, I mean, it goes back to the parcel, is it?
Yes.
Okay. So actually the landowner?
I would have to look at the specific parcel that you're talking about, but generally,
coming?
Yeah.
what we've been finding
We're
is
coming.
that
John's reading it that way.
No.
I know that she found a couple that somebody died or they conveyed their partial mineral interest, or, there's been different scenarios, so those should be going back to the land.
Okay.
Any more coming down?
That's it?
Okay.
One with the paperclip, last one.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the new signal.
That's a nice little signal from Sherman up here. He put
I
the
see.
paperclip on the last one.
I see.
Same way the current year, and then into the current year there's paperclip, and then the prior year there's paper. Okay. Got that
All
done.
right, I have 2 salary sheets.
All right. Okay, salary change for Kimberly Ross in the Health Department from 2,347 to 2,394. And salary change in the Health Department for Carla Dirksen from 2,550 to 3,191. Change from part-time registered nurse to part-time WIC registered nurse.
Thank you. Of the minutes of April 4th.
Commissioners had a chance to review the minutes of April 4th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Gehring. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Dalkey, second. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. Since the time of your packet, we've had some more checks added. And so the clipboard is here. The new total is actually $175,489.92. We've issued a check from Road and Bridge Gravel for the final payment to APM, which we will hold until, actually, I wonder if maybe we should just wait for the early checks until after Brad does his part.
That's a good idea.
Because there's also, we've got a check in here that we added for the purchase of the real estate, but he's bringing all those agreements with him, so it'd be better if you
Let's
approve
do
the
that.
agreements first,
Let's do that.
then approve the payables.
Very good.
But we did add to what was in the packet, and then there was one other addition, which was $48 for the cookies for this coming Friday for the Employee Appreciation Luncheon, so. I'll just hold on to all those.
Yep, we'll table approval of early checks till
Yeah,
later in the meeting.
I'm sorry, I didn't think
No,
about that
that's
until
good
just
catch.
now. Okay. In your packet, we did have, I did put the lease purchase bids for the financing of the 2 used motor graders. And I have the paper copy here if anybody needs to look at that closer.
Looking through that, the low bid technically would be vintage.
Yes.
I'll make a motion. Go with vintage.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the bid from Vintage Bank at 2.35% on the total of,
The amount to finance was $523,000.
thank you, $523,000. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Crowfoot, second. Discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I abstain.
1 abstention, so 4 in favor, 1 abstention.
I'd be confused if I didn't understand the dynamic.
Well, you know, finish right with
It's been riveting up to this point.
Yeah, we get really aggressive, yeah.
Well, you may have to tune in on the radio on the drive.
you. New leadership.
Clip it along with the routines.
Would we be able to get a motion also to authorize the chairman to execute paperwork associated with the lease purchase?
So I make that motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Garing, a second by Commissioner Dalkey to allow the chairman to authorize the chairman to sign the documents related to the lease purchase. Further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay. We had a request for Heart to Heart to put some pinwheels out on the lawn. I don't have any issue with that at all, but I thought maybe the board would want knowledge of that and to
Okay.
be able to approve that,
Yes,
so.
and I appreciate in the packet, there is information about blue pinwheels for Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. This will be sponsored by the Heart to Heart Child Advocacy Center. The month of April is recognized for child abuse awareness and prevention. Traditionally, they display pinwheels in the communities they serve. We have served Marion County since 2000 and would like to display to bring awareness to your community. They've attached pictures for their display in Harvey County. It would be a one-day display set up from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And they are looking at potentially April 21st as their date.
Very good.
We need a motion to
Yes, I would ask
approve
for-
that. I
yes.
would make a motion to approve the placing of the pinwheels.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Becker to approve the blue pinwheel presentation for Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, second by Commissioner Garing. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay. Reminder of our employee luncheon on Friday at 12, starting around 12.
What time do we need to be here, Randy? Are you bringing that cooker?
Yeah, I haven't thought about it yet, Ken. Wow.
11?
Oh, yeah, I'll be here by 10 or so and get it fired up and get it going, get it good and hot, so, yeah, 11 to start cooking anyway, 10:30, 11. We might probably cook a bunch and then put them in put them in
In a warmer or
a
something.
warmer, yeah,
Warmer
so, yeah.
Oh, and it was brought to my attention, it's also Good Friday. So I talked to Ashley about maybe providing some fish or alternative. And so I think Ashley was gonna work to make sure there are alternates available.
Yeah, we were gonna potentially see about maybe trying to order some fried catfish from Carlson's.
Excellent.
We're gonna just ask ahead for anybody that wants a fish option.
Very good.
That'd be a difficult challenge on the grill.
I don't know if Commissioner Dalkey's fish grilling skills.
Little foil butter and Lemon.
You know,
That sounds delicious.
I didn't realize it was my day off. And I'm doing it on my day off, so just give me some slack.
Good for you.
Yeah.
We went with Plan B. so
Okay.
you're good.
No problem. We'll
All right.
get her taken
You
care
don't
of.
want to hurry around that way.
There you go.
You
That's
take-
true.
Be leisure.
And next,
City of Hillsborough is applying for a solid waste grant. They're buying a screen for their compost. This is just the basic grant application, and they're just asking for the county to approve, and, I mean, they haven't filled any of this in on your copy, but the email explained what they're doing, and really all they need is the county commission as the solid waste management planning committee, because we don't have such a board, to approve that the project is.
just a letter of support.
Yeah, basically, and so they want a signature of so we would need the county to support their grant application and authorize the chairman to sign the statement. And I did run this by Sharon Olmsted and Josh, and they're both there's no conflict with any of our existing plans.
Good.
I'll make a motion to support the City of Hillsboro's grant application.
Okay, a motion from Commissioner Becker to allow the chairman to sign the
Yes.
letter of support for the Community of Hillsboro's grant application for the solid waste grant. Is there a second?
I just want to add, if you would, allow it as a motion to allow the chairman to sign the support form.
Support form. Is that,
I'll second that.
okay.
I can amend my motion if I need.
I think we've got it covered. So Commissioner Becker, and a second by Commissioner Garing to allow the chairman to sign the support form, letter of support form. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried.
And it's my understanding that when the actual application is completely filled in, that
Then we will
Mr.
sign.
Dale Dalkey will bring it over for
Okay.
the
Very good.
signature, so.
Yeah, it was, as I recall, it was a sifter to separate trash from the compost. So
Yes.
it'll be a very good addition to the city of Hillsborough.
And we can use it for crushed concrete too.
It has multiple uses.
Okay. I have to request that you did not have in your packet, it just came to me this morning. So the Hillsborough EMS station is basically finished. They're looking at moving in the beginning of, next week, maybe Monday. But Mr. Parley said that they've ordered the 3 recliners, but they won't be here until June or July. And so the Marion station, so they're using furniture right now in Hillsborough that came from the trash. He doesn't really want to move that into the station. Marion Station, their recliners are not functional either. So he is requesting permission, since this total goes above 1,000, he wants to order he said the best deal I found is Furniture Warehouse in Newton has 3 matching recliners for $489.95 each. And he wants to go ahead and go get them or have them delivered within the next few daes. They would go into Hillsborough until the ones that he's already ordered arrive, and then these ones would go to Marion. So they would have the functioning recliners at both locations. And so since it's over the $1,000 limit, his total would be $1,469.85 out of his budget. I just said it would be better for that to come before you all, and I said I would present it from his email, so.
Okay. Any questions by the commission? If there are not, is there a motion to approve the purchase of the 3 recliners?
Make
Okay,
that
motion by Commissioner Crowfoot. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Garing. Discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, thank you.
Let's give him a chance. I thought there was a question.
We waited for the early checks because 2 of them have pending agreements, so we'll do those after the agreements. On the table in front of you, Commissioners, you have the report for our ARPA funds. I need to go in on the Treasury's portal to complete the report, but here's the the basic outline of it from the Lloyd Group. And the third page basically shows that the $1,074,042, we're going to be claiming that under revenue loss. And that is the payment that we paid to the Lloyd Group, or to Swindle, Jansen, Hoff and Lloyd before they became the Lloyd Group for administration. That was $11,000. It was $11,542. It's listed out on this sheet, so you can see everything. And then the two encumbrances, which is $312,500 for the ambulance, and then the $750,000 encumbrance for the premium pay. So that's what makes up that number, and that would be the current amount that's either encumbered or spent. So I do need the board's approval of this report, and then I will enter it on the Treasury's portal. We've only received half the funds so far, and so that's what you see when it says unencumbered cash on hand. It takes the total amount we've received minus the allocations, and that's what's left after we spend that, of what we already have. Does anybody have any questions looking at this?
When did the second payment come?
I don't know the answer to
Okay,
that.
that's fine. That's fine. Any other questions for Tina? Is there a motion to approve the, how would you label that, the rescue expenditure tracking summary?
I would say this would be the this is the document we'll use to prepare the expenditure report on the portal. Let me see if there's a better name for you to call it.
Expenditure report would work.
Yes, yes it would.
Okay. Would there be a motion to approve the rescue fund expenditure report? Okay, motion by Commissioner Gary, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker, discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay.
Thank you, Tina.
Would it be possible to get the chairman's signature on this? Just showing the day that it was approved by the board on this big yellow spot. Excuse me. Yeah. So, did you all read through that request from KDHE? This is, they want to utilize that program similar to what was utilized at the Peabody gas station for contamination in the soil, to clean up an area that's in an unincorporated part of the county over in Canada. And so they're asking for Marion County to sign off permission for access to that. And I did run this by Sharon Olmstead. She has no issue with it. I don't know who's, I sent that in the packet. I don't know if you looked at it.
I did. No real issue there.
So I guess we just need the board's approval if they want to approve that.
There's nothing to sign or submit?
There is a signature. They're asking us, I think, to grant right-of-way access
there it
as
is.
the owner.
Got it. Okay. Any discussion from the commission? If not, is there a motion to allow the chairman to sign the document giving KDHE access to property for cleanup investigation? Motion by Commissioner Garing, is there a second?
Yep.
Commissioner Donkey, further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Okay. Just a lot of little interesting things today.
Variety.
Yes.
Greetings.
Let's see.
I was a little bit confused with the KDHE thing and then seeing the pictures afterward.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
sorry.
thought they went together.
So it looks like there are two sets,
Okay.
so we'll send one. There'll be an original signed copy for each.
It's a sense of power, isn't it?
Never thought I would say that.
Go around.
Signing a document
Does it do that?
as the landowner of Canada.
Okay, so other than the checks, that's the only, which we'll need to do later, that's
Okay.
all of the administrative, except just to remind Commissioner Crowfoot and Commissioner Dalkey, which I think Commissioner Crowfoot may have already done it. There's some paperwork in an envelope there that needs to be completed today for open enrollment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Duffy?
I have some questions on the packet information here, which is a credit card report. I see there's quite a few meals here over $30. Do we have any limit set on meals?
You do, no.
And I also tell the commission that credit cards is the way of the world, I understand that today, but I don't know what the grand total of our expense card report is this month. I see that we're paying a lot of entry fees for probably courses, stuff like that. Understand a lot of that. But I can't go for a $30 meal, about $30. So I'm just asking the commission if they, I mean, I eat over a lot of places, but I don't spend over $30 for a meal.
Is that for two people under? Or
Well, I don't know that.
Yeah.
See, it's got a one name and it don't say two there, so.
And those come through on your monthly, you get a report, like on the vouchers each
Yeah.
payday. You know, it shows card services and it'll show what was charged. So those come through on payday as part of the expenditures. And if you ever want to look at those vouchers, we have them available for you to review and look at, so.
Maybe it's a friendly reminder, we refresh ourselves about our P-card policy and how we do it, so that's 2 cents worth.
Yep.
You also can consider per diem if we don't have one, and I don't know if we do.
We don't.
Most do.
Usually you just say be reasonable. I mean, you have asked the people be reasonable, but when you go to a conference or you're going to training, most of the time the evening meals are over $20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, noted. Anything else, Tina?
Not at this time.
1 o'clock on our agenda, we have Randy Frank. You know if Randy's here?
Excuse me.
Hello, Randy.
I was trying to listen to the volume outside of the TV and it wasn't loud enough.
Yeah. Audio visual, we're working on it. We're gonna get it approved.
That's okay.
What do you have for us today?
Couple of things. Keep the pass those down, Commissioner. Step by here again. What this is, the LATC committee, which is the Local Emergency Planning Committee, we did our quarterly meeting over the last several months. We've had 3 individuals rewriting our bylaws for us. There was actually Tina Spencer, Sharon Olmstead, and Marcy Husted were put on the team. They came up with some changes, and these are the changes to the bylaws they've made. They're pretty minor changes, spelling things out as far as what ECRA means and things, what the acronyms mean, spelling it out so the general public would know what those words really mean, those acronyms. And they put it all together. So anyhow, the committee met last month, voted to approve the changes, and now we need the commission's signature on it to be concurrent as we move it forward to the state for adoption.
Any questions by the commission?
What all is this committee in charge of?
Well, they're charged with planning for large, anything that's called a tier 2, and there's a hazmat materials, what tier 2 is. They're in charge of planning for those, working with all of our tier 2 elements that are within the county. And many of them don't even actually live in our county, but they have facilities here. So working with them and putting together plans on how to respond. We work with their teams in response once they come here. They, like everyone else in emergency services, follow under the ICS structure. They understand it very well, which is nice to see. And so that's what we do. So and then we reach out to the different facilities and talk to them. We go through and we walk through the facilities under the tier 2 statutes, where we're allowed to walk through and see where it's at. One big push on LAPCs and doing certain things, and also we have the fire departments go through all the ones that are in the district, so they know what's actually in these facilities if they have to go in there. And it became a big push maybe six to 10 years ago in Texas, where the co-op exploded and exploded to a good portion of the town. And it's because two chemicals were staying too close to each other. They weren't friends, and they came together, and bad things happened. And had they been stored in different places, they could have been in the same building, they were just too close to each other. So we're looking really close at things like that.
Any other questions from the commission?
Changes, is this cosmetic, I mean, change?
No, it's pretty much all cosmetic. We spelled out the acronyms so people would know what those really were, and we put that together.
This is something we should table till next week, till we can read it.
I guess I would look at it that the LEPC committee has already looked at it. Tina, you were involved in it. Do you have any issues or comments you would like to make?
I don't have any issues with it.
Okay.
I think it's a lot more clear now than it was before.
Okay, so your interpretation is the changes help the document?
Yeah, it just helped to clarify things. It was a little bit confusing.
Right. Yeah. So I guess I would ask for a motion for the commission to approve the Marion County LEPC revised bylaws.
I would make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Crowfoot, is there a second? I'll second it, Commissioner Mueller. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Thank you, Randy.
There is a place on the back.
Okay.
Is that a?
He's got the original
Okay,
signed.
yeah.
And he's got a copy too. This is this is a quarterly briefing. This is what we've done in the last quarter. We've been working on the COOP plans pretty steadily. We're trying to catch the last few department heads that couldn't make it to our COOP meetings. I think we've got 4 people left to go through. One's public health, one is the sheriff, obviously, he's brand new. So we gave him a month before we dumped things on him, so we can try to get into the role here. Continue working with the State Emergency Operations Center on the COVID issue and the weekly meetings. Things are slowing down considerably because the state EOC is not doing weekly meetings anymore. So they see that things are slowing down, which is a good thing. Obviously, we conduct the MCC meetings. We have finished briefing the last department on the emergency operations plan as the commission asked us to. They've all now been contacted and talked about their function within the plan, so they've all now been contacted. And they're reaching out to the people they need to reach out to. I think it was last week or the week before, did a presentation at the Peabody School District on weather preparedness. The day after the storm spotter class that we had over at Tabor College. Working with the Sunflower Wind Project, received their emergency response plan here over the weekend. I've been trying to read it to get up to speed on, see what they recommend. I found a few things that I'd like to visit with them about possibly adjusting in there, so that we contact the right people at the right time. Worked on the Florence motorcycle race that you adopted last week, or you adopted their plan last week. That started several weeks ago. I gave them several documents to look at, to consider for their plan, things to put in their plan that would be helpful to help lessen the liability. I think it was about 7 pages long, the document I gave them. Let's see. We just started a new mass notification system. We encourage everyone to sign up for it. It's called Everbridge. Should be able to go online. I think Cherry was working on it last week. I haven't looked to see if it's on there yet or not. Everbridge We started out with Nixle, and Everbridge is up here, and Everbridge bought out Nixle and several other people. It's a big piece. Homeland Security's paying for it. That's a project I've been working on for the last couple of years on the committee. Now all 18 counties in our region have this, and several other regions are doing the same thing. They're trying to make it a statewide project for all of them. This will become very helpful in a lot of things. As I talked with Tina recently about it as well, when she gets into the COOP planning and things like that, she can create groups in there where she can send out mass notifications to specific groups. And she'll be able to actually do that from where she has a computer. So she'll be able to do that in her COOP portion of the plan. Or if there's something she needs to send out in a hurry, she can do that as well. It goes to your text, your email, and telephone. You'll get all of them. You'll get a voicemail, telephone as well. So if it starts to sound like a telemarketer, it may not be, okay? It's a digital voicemail. Let's see if I worked on that. And we did the severe weather proclamation last week. Some of the responses was a residential fire in Peabody, house that was totaled, a semi rollover near Florence on Highway 50. We had the Chelsea fire, which was on the east side of Marion County. That burned about 650 acres. We had Tinder 95, it was just a state resource come in and drop, I think 3 drops over there. Coordinated with several different counties around us in putting together a task force to go to the Reno County fire that happened a few weeks ago, and putting that together. This weekend, speaking of fires again, they're looking at potential fire danger for tomorrow. And the Forest Service requested Kansas Division of Emergency Management to reach out to the county coordinators. And so I've got an email from the state requesting us to put together a task force in case they need to deploy on Tuesday. I worked with Matthew both over the weekend. They were able to establish a team that could deploy tomorrow if we had to deploy them, which would not leave us a shortage. And we make very clear that we don't intend to do that. And that's 4 grass trucks, a tender, and a command unit is what goes in the task force. Let's see. We're I'm almost done with writing an emergency operations center management plan. So if I'm not around and someone has to open the EOC, the plan will tell them who has to be called and what has to be done and things like that. Where the wireless links are and things like that, so you can all hook up into them, and how the tables will set within the room. I'll put it so that if you guys had to walk in, you can pull up the plan and say, here, this is what we gotta do, the 1, 2, 3, and things will fall into place. The EOC that we have is a small EOC, and so it's specific. We have finance, logistics, operations planning, and the EOC manager within there. Planning also includes fire and law, so they'll have liaisons talking to those folks. Excuse me. If it gets big enough that we have to start calling in specific emergency support functions, we'll need to move to another location. And we've identified a few places that have a big enough room to do that. And also the internet's already set up there. Hopefully nothing that big happens. And also a few weeks ago, we did send out the updated storm spotter procedures. When our spotters go out, how to proceed, how to work together, and which radio talk group we're using for specifically storm spotting. And that's the quarter.
Very good. Thank you, Randy. Any questions from commissioners? If not, thank you for your work, Randy. Appreciate it.
Before Randy leaves, I've just been waiting for him to come in so I could bring this one up. It's not anything too difficult, and I know he's seen it before. I wanted to ask, while he was here, to get some input from everyone. Randy, this is on that cleanup at 77 and 56, where...
Auto House.
Yes, thank you.
I remember sending you the email. Auto House, yes.
Okay.
And
You two are on the same link.
I wanted to do that while Randy was here, because I kind of inherited it in the middle.
It was beyond my decision.
Yeah, and I was, that's what I wanted to know from
Yeah.
your perspective, because we're going to get this again
Right.
periodically when these sorts of things occur. Just by way of quick background, I received a contact from Sharon at Auto House. They're trying to facilitate getting their money a little more quickly, I think is the best way I can put that. When they go out and do a cleanup, environmental or otherwise, they're asked periodically to do that. In this case, the Sheriff's Department, I believe, was the one that asked them. It wasn't something that Randy did, as far as I know. They went out and provided that service, took care of everything. They utilized a track skid steer, I think, and some other things. And the little one-page form, if we want to, I'm just giving that to you now so I understand if you prefer to read that and we'll do it next week, that's fine. I just owe her an answer, and I don't know that this is necessarily something that Randy would necessarily sign, but we could assign it to him. We can assign it, I don't know if I'd assign it to the Sheriff's Department. They really were just doing the response, or we can leave it with the board. It needs a little bit of a change to it, to identify state agency, which I think they mean to be us in that form whenever we're making this request. But this gives them an assignment so they can make a claim directly to the insurance carrier of the responsible party to get paid. And that's the short and long of it. I don't think we have any real issue with it as long as they've done the work. But then you get into the question of exactly who do we confirm requested it, and then did they do it adequately? I mean, was there any other issue that wasn't resolved? Because basically what we're doing is saying, when we sign this, yep, it was all good and we're happy, but we don't really know much about it. First time I ever heard about this accident was 3 months later. So I'm just trying to determine what's best and what works the best. I certainly don't have a problem with them facilitating their payment as quickly as they can get it. They're running a business and they're providing a service that we utilize, as I'm told, with some regularity, and I'm familiar with that company. So
when we have an incident with a tier 2 spill of any kind, and the Sheriff's Department calls the tow truck, and that's what Auto House is, but they also have a cleanup team as well. That's what this is. If there is a spill, the cleanup team comes as well. Once the trucks are all the equipment's picked up and moved, and then I'm there with the Auto House people until we get things cleaned to a certain point. Then we invite KDHE to come in because they're the official, because they do the testing of the grounds. And once that's all cleaned up, then they get their payroll, whatever that is. But that's how that works. Is I'm there. We do the cleaning. You know, we make sure that it's not going to run into any creeks or anything like that. That it's solid enough until we get KDHE down here. KDHE is usually good about showing up the day of the event. They come fairly quickly for spills and releases. And then they work real close with them. So that's how the process.
Yeah,
I don't make the request. The Sheriff's Department does, but I work with them.
And that was my understanding as well, and I made a call to KDHE, and they normally then follow up, based on my experience and probably yours as well, with a follow-up letter or some type of an indication that things have been cleaned up. I, from perspective as a county councilor, would want to know that that was either in Randy's hands or someone's, so that when we do release this and it's been paid, that we know that everything was dealt with, because that's their function. When they get asked to come out there and do this, they're to do it to the standard that the state requests. I have no doubt they did it, but I don't have anything right now that indicates that that was done. I have a copy of a police report and what I've provided to you. And so that's not being critical of them by any means. I think they're looking too to make sure that they can set up some format where they can do the work, make the request, and expedite being paid, because in some instances it's forever before they get paid on it, and they'd like to try to do something to deal with that account receivable.
Just as COVID started, we had a spill down by Florence by the gravel pit down there. That took a year to clean it up. It took another year to pay everybody.
Yeah.
It's a long, I'm not sure it's a job I'd want to own. But they can request it, and KDH should provide them with a letter saying that everything's clean, everything's good. If they don't get that, I can always request a letter. That's an easy piece. But they should have that, and they should ask you to sign something.
And that was my thought, is I could go ahead and make 2 changes to this. One, for that piece of paper to come with it, and 2, to make sure they identify which agency it is we're representing when we sign. State agency by itself, he left that out. He identified the responsible party, he identified KDA, well, no, he identified the responsible party and their company, and that's all. So I want to be sure that that's noted, and then I wanted to be sure Randy had the opportunity to give some input. He gets notice of all this as well, so that's why I waited to bring it to you. But with that, I'll probably bring that back to you next week, just so you see it in final form. I'd like to get it back to them because I know they want to get paid, so.
Okay, so you got the information? you
I
need?
think I do. That was what I needed. That's helpful.
Would it authorize, would it be chairman or would it be emergency?
That's up to you. If you want to delegate that to emergency management and it dumps it in Randy's lap, and he can go ahead and do that.
Well, he's the one that
Yeah.
verified.
Yeah.
so-
Well, I expect them to verify to him and to you, no matter what we do. You know, if they're going to submit this and for some reason it's going to be signed here, it would need to be attached to it as far as I'm concerned. That's their responsibility.
Why does it say it's a camper fire?
There was a camper and a truck and it was fully engulfed. I have a copy of the
Doesn't
police
look like a
report.
camper, it looks like
That's all
Storage
storage.
Yeah, I understand.
Windows,
They just
doors.
identified it that way
It's
as a
got
camper.
lock boxes in the front.
And I think they may have gone off of, if I recall correctly, because I asked for a copy, and that was provided, the original report, and it may just be what's located on that accident report that the sheriff's department issued, referred to it as a camper he was pulling.
I could see it if it was on fire.
Yeah.
Sort of a camper.
And then they identify it when they do their little schematic as a camper.
Okay, so your questions
think-
are answered?
yeah.
You'll bring back a document first? next
Yeah,
week?
it'll look like that, only I'll make a few changes to it, make sure their legal counsel has had a chance to see it and acknowledge that that's fine with them.
Right.
So who's signing?
I go ahead and make a motion for when Brad buys it, Randy, go ahead.
To
You authorized to sign?
Sign it to emergency management. Okay, is that a
Since
motion?
he's the one that physically was on site, looked at it.
I want him to look at it, make sure it's all
Yeah,
legal.
yeah, and I appreciate that, because there are a couple of changes I want to make to it, like always.
Yes, that is a motion.
Okay, the motion from Commissioner Gearing to assign emergency management to assign to emergency management to sign the documentation.
Limited to assignment.
Limited assignment of claim.
I'll second it.
Sign. Second by Commissioner
Delegate
Clifford.
signature.
Any further discussion? Yes, Commissioner Donkey.
When does Marion County become responsible when there's nobody? We don't have no camper's name, we don't have nobody's name, and you find a spill, somebody's turned a spill in, the semi set alongside the road and done something, and then they pulled off and left the state. When does Marion County become responsible?
The rule from EPA and after those affect people, the rule is the spiller's responsible. He who spills or she who spills is responsible. So this truck you're talking about, whoever owns that truck, they're responsible. So we can go through the process he went through, find out who actually owned it, and then KDHE and everyone else would go after him in order to clean this up, or to
Yeah.
pay for
But I
the
understand
price.
Yeah.
it's not known who the spiller is, but we
If-
find the spill. When does Marion County become responsible?
At the point where we can, after due diligence, cannot ascertain reasonably who was spilled, like a hit and run. Just think of it like that in common parlance. It happens. One by the Circle by Florence, I noticed one there not all that long ago, and I don't know what happened yet, and I don't want to know at the moment. But in those instances, if we can't ascertain, it's going to come to us, and then we have to see if there's anything else we can do to determine the culpable party. If we can't, then we work with the state on it. But we usually report it to the sheriff's department and local law enforcement if it's jurisdictionally within one of the cities. And now with those flock cameras that are spreading hither and yon, we hope that maybe we can narrow down who just drove by in the last day, and if we see it quick enough. So it's a little bit of yes, no, and maybe on that.
Okay.
But generally, to answer your question, we do if we can't find anybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Just because it's in our county, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
We try real hard to find them. We need to do them, you know.
yeah, because they're in a world of hurt if we do find them and took off on
We
them.
haven't had one since I've been here, but we've always found the owners.
Okay.
We
Thank
just have
you.
to for them to, thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks,
Can I answer
We
your
haven't
question?
voted yet, have we?
Can I answer your question? Okay, thank you.
It hasn't been moved.
It hasn't. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I need,
Not
I need to
distracted
get,
by all the discussion, let's finish this up. Calling the question, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. Now,
were you gonna sign the LEPC thing now, or are you gonna go review it? I
I
didn't
already
hear all
signed
that.
it.
Decide.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get it.
I'll be done, okay, thank
yep,
you.
we're gone. Thank you, Randy. Sorry for the delay, guys. We have Sked with us. We had this riveting discussion that you got to sit in on.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and if whoever the lead spokesman, if you come up to the table, it's the microphone for our online people that are watching.
All right, very good. So I'm Mark Howell. I'm the new Executive Director of SCED.
Okay,
This is
Mark.
Bill Lampy, and he is the Experienced Weatherization Program Manager. I'll give you guys each a little packet. We came today because I just wanted to introduce myself because I'm new. And we also had an issue that we want to talk through with you guys as far as just getting someone from your county to be part of our board. And so I believe the last time, at one point Randy Collette was part of it, and was actually our board president. The last person before that that we had assigned, I believe, was Anthony Roy, and he's no longer in his position, so we were hoping to get that resolved as far as who might join our board, and then we can start walking them through the process. But also, we want to tell you a little bit more about the weatherization program. There's going to be some increased funding. Then if, I'm not sure how familiar you guys are with SCED, I can give you a brief overview of what we do, to whatever extent you want me to. But that's what we're here for today.
Okay.
Since I'm an at-large member, I try to keep the commission informed of what's going
I
on.
thought you were.
Yes, we do have, there is a vacancy for a Marion County member.
Yes.
Okay, so I think we've been informed on basically SCED, we understand that, but if you could give us background and information on the weatherization program, I think that would be very helpful for us.
Sure. So I'll come over here just briefly, but I've presented here before, but the reason I wanted to come back today is with a lot of the additional funds that are being made available with the additional funding coming out. We're getting about $2.4 million in additional funding for the next year. So some of that will be purpose for multifamily, but a lot of it's going to be single family driven. Since we've taken over Marion County, we've seen a big uptick in service for weatherization here, obviously, but we haven't done anything for multifamily in the county. That can be 8 units, 16 units. I think sometimes people hear multifamily and they automatically think, high rise, big complexes, but we know we have some senior residents here and some different things in the county area. So, I really just wanted to come out and just kind of task that out to everybody here, that if you know that there's some locations that could really utilize these services, our average cost per unit is around $7,800. So obviously you have a 20 unit complex. That's a pretty good investment that we put into that. So again, I won't go over all the work, but it's really designed to lower those utilities, eliminate their health and safety issues, carbon monoxide, gas leaks, those kind of things. So you don't hear a lot about it, but when we go test these before we provide services, there's a lot of issues. So I've seen a lot in my 20 years here from the senior side of things, and things are being overlooked. And so that's really what I'm preaching when I go out is, if there's some senior residencies around here, single family or multifamily, reach out to us. Mark's gonna leave you some cards today. One of them, Erin Farney's on that. She is our outreach specialist. Share that with anybody. She'll get applications out via email or mail them, whatever. But our waiting list right now is only about 4 months. We've hired a lot of additional people, so the turnaround time is pretty quick right now. But as soon as they make these public announcements about the additional funds, that waiting list will go to probably 2 to 3 years really quickly. So we're just really trying to get out and knock on the doors of our counties really quickly and let them know that these funds are going to be made available probably July and August.
So what was the contact again? Who do we
Erin
need to
Farney,
try?
and he's gonna leave business cards for you guys with her contact. Mine's there as well, but Erin is a much faster resource for getting
Right.
applications, and she also can send you. He's got some different communication via templates and things. Those are all electronic, and if you guys are like me, you'd probably rather have the email or the electronic version you can just forward to somebody rather than the hard copy, but he's got some of those things to share with you, and you guys can read through that and push it along. But he's going to talk a little bit about our resurgence program as well, but obviously a lot of funds for housing right now in the state of Kansas, and that's our wheelhouse. So if there's anything you guys see your need in the county, please give us a holler and let us come out and try to help you.
I can vouch for Bill, because when I was first on the board, I did go out and look at a property that was being weatherized in Marion County, and boy, I was highly impressed. It's not just, you know, insulation and, you know, the things you think of that will heat or cool a house. I mean, yeah, they were in there testing for carbon monoxide, checking chimneys and all kind of stuff.
We've actually been recognized nationally. We're doing a lot of training for our national service providers and such. So we got a very senior team, a lot of people, 15, 20 years. So we're fortunate. We got a lot of good people with us. But reach out, let us help you out. You guys have been long-standing members with us. So whatever we can do to help, please let us know. We'd love to have another board member join Kent. So you guys can let us know how we can best serve it. So
You are income-based?
it's income-based, but those are up a little bit this year. So every year they send us new income levels. It's just above 250%, I think, right now. So it's getting more reasonable every year. It used to be 150%, so it's obviously going up, and we could serve a lot more. There are some auto qualifiers. So Erin, again, she's way better with that than I am, but she'll work with those individuals on the phone to do whatever she can to try to get them qualified and whatnot. But if there's a question, I would just shoot them to her, and she can kind of walk them through the process on the phone.
The reason why I'm saying that is because I do know there's a large facility in Peabody that has low-income people in it.
Yeah.
But the last time that I knew, that place had a healthy bank account.
Yeah.
And I would just assume that they take care of their problems instead of
Sure.
bringing somebody in. But
a lot of times
I don't know how that. I just was asking how that interferes with.
A lot of times those complexes, they use their money towards cosmetics.
Wow.
They don't understand the building science around the things that save those folks money or other items. Again, shoot them to us. A lot of times we'll ask for property owners, if they have money, to invest a little bit also with those programs, so we can make that money go further. So, obviously if it's an owner occupied and it's a low-income tenant, or, we're gonna pay the whole thing. But if it's a apartment complex and there's somebody that can afford to invest as well, we'll ask for them to contribute a little bit of money to stretch those grant dollars out. But we're wanting to help the people that don't have money, stretch their dollars out, help pay for medical expenses and food and those kind of things. So send them our way so we can try to help you guys out. And again, if there's anybody you guys know that would be a board fit, we'd love to have a new member from your guys' county. So thanks for letting us come out and talk today. I'll let Mark finish up. So
Appreciate the information.
Absolutely.
Hopefully we get some contacts.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll just mention a couple things real quick. Again, besides the again, hopefully a new board member. One, we do think that there's going to be a little bit more CD money coming out. So the community with the grants. So we've obviously got the grant writing team. You guys pay a fee to be a part of that. So we'll let you know as soon as that money becomes available. But if you guys have an interest in that, we think there'll be some opportunities there. And then we're very good at the housing grants. And we're also really very good at the commercial rehab. Been very successful in writing those grants as well. So if there's businesses in the community that have a need to do structural improvements to a building, there's a good program there. The other thing we wanted to talk about was our housing research program. We've been working on this for a while. And essentially, you guys understand the SCED's very good at weatherization. But we're also good in general at construction. So Bill's been in the industry 20 years. He's got several inspectors who've been in the industry and have a general contractor license for well over a decade. So we've got this level of expertise that is really hard to find. So what we are hearing from communities is that there's a lack of housing stock, not just low income, But if you want to bring a plant in manufacturing, or you want to have a teacher or a fireman, those kind of things, kind of the middle income folks, there's no housing for them in rural communities a lot of times. So the idea of this program is that we are going to hopefully make some relationships with some cities and counties, and the idea would be if we can find a house that is salvageable, can't be ready to fall down, but if it's got a good foundation and good bones, right? But it's got what I would call case of the uglies. We can go in and not only remodel it so that it's pretty, but when we're done, it's also going to be weatherized to the point that it's going to be very efficient. I think they said they'd like to have it kind of generally no maintenance for 20 years when we're done. So the idea is we would try to get these houses as low cost as we can, either through a city-county partnership, houses that are abandoned, those type of things. We'll go in and we'll rehab them, and then when we sell them, we're going to sell them at market rate, but we're going to turn around, I think, $5,000 of that and give it to an owner-occupied buyer as a down payment, so that they can make, and then try to partner with some other down payment assistance programs so that maybe they can avoid PMI. So we feel like this is a win for communities we serve. We do have a couple of counties that have actually talked about using ARPA funds to fund a program. So if you guys have any interest in that, we've got kind of a template we're using, and we think we're close to getting a grant from another county we serve. So we could certainly throw that information out to you as well. But you've got a brochure in there. But that's what we see. We're getting requests all around for just what do they call workforce housing stock?
Workforce housing, and the need was those gap houses that are vacant and they're blighted, and what does the city do with them, because nobody's doing anything else with them. So that's where the concept kind of came from, because government programs won't pay for them because there's not a owner occupied that qualifies for them. So that's where they kind of this is kind of stemmed from, as they reached out to us and said, how can you do this? So we generated some funds and now worked with some other counties on how do we get some funding here just to get it off the ground so we can continue to do this. So the goal here is to do this for forever, create the program that obviously rolls, so we can go into communities when they have those properties, turn them over, so it's creating a tax base for the community, and it's a nice home, and it's not that abandoned, blighted property. So that's what the need was coming at us, and that was the solution, that we kind of provided something we could do. But each community has kind of different needs, so we're just kind of sharing that out there. If there's a need there, that is a service that obviously we can provide. We do that with CDBG and such. So
I know a lot of those cities and counties now have land banks. Have you found that might be a route?
Yeah, so Sedgwick County has actually reached out to us. We right away with that one, we're kind of like, we'll wait and see. Rural's been a big push of ours, because that's kind of our bread and butter. So that's been our initial visits and such. But we've talked to Reno County, we've been out to Harper County. I mean, basically all the counties we serve, we've been in contact with, and they've. I think there's a general interest in the concept, and could they take advantage of that, and would that help their community? So we're really just kind of providing that concept, and I think each community and county has to just kind of look at what their biggest needs are. Some are housing, obviously, some are daycares and whatnot. So I think everyone's trying to figure out what their needs are, but we obviously have a talent on the housing side of it, and that's a piece that if there's a need there, that obviously we can try to help fill in those gaps. But yeah, we've had more conversations than we know what to do with at this point. But certainly, if there's a need there, then we can help you out. Reach out, and we'll come out, free consultations, and travel your towns and tell you what we can do. And if there's a service there, we can help you with.
Very good. There's definitely a need.
Absolutely.
And your program will certainly work right into that need.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate you making us aware of it and giving us more details and contact information.
Yes, sir.
Just on the board, just can't
is from Marion County.
I'm the only one from Marion County right now.
Right, and he's a large member, so really, there's usually a county representative that's assigned, or as I understand it. So, again, I think it's been, and a lot of times it's gonna be an economic development person, it could be obviously a county
I
board
don't
member.
think either one of those positions have been filled yet. Unless you know.
Well, I know one of the administrators' background is in economic development, so.
Yeah. Might be a good fit.
So we meet once a month, just if you're talking to that person, obviously they can meet in person, but we also have virtual like you guys do, so we try to make it really flexible for them.
We'll try to get that position for
A few of them showed up for the last meeting.
That's right.
I might try it this month.
Well, thank you so much for your time, appreciate it.
Thank you very
Good to
much.
see you in person tomorrow.
Thank you.
I'll see you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, we're now 10 minutes behind, but we are still very interested in hearing from Dennis Smith.
Well, here I am.
Okay, if you would come up to the
Yeah, where's the
microphone.
I want the camera to get the best view possible.
There we go.
My profile. I appreciate you letting me come in today. There's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Did we get those photographs
Yes.
uploaded? Okay. Okay, can you zoom out just a little bit more? So we can see a little bigger, if I can remember where that one is. I'll just, for those of you that haven't been out to the lake lately, Mr. Dalkey, I know you do, but I know you have work to do when you're out there, so you may not see it. And I apologize for this, but, well, we'd go back to the first one, please. There we go. This is just right between Valley Road and 170th. And it's hard to tell, and I apologize for the photograph. There just wasn't a good way to take it. But there's a couple of sections on Lakeshore Drive that are built on fill. And I'm saying that, assuming that, because they looked to be natural draws years ago when the lake was built. So this stuff is a combination of soil and rock, and it's probably a little unpredictable how it's going to act. But this was about, if you look, you can kind of see the cave-off area a little to the right there, that dark spot. That's about 2 feet from the edge of the pavement there, and it's almost vertical. So I will tell you, if it was solid rock, vertical's not bad. If it's fill, vertical's not good. Let's look at the next one, and this is right outside my house at 107, and this thing is eroding on a pretty regular basis, and it's not from the culvert. There's water that runs down the top of that road from both sides, gets down to the bottom and washes over the top, and that again is an area that's on fill. So if we go to the next one, this is over by about number 70 on Lakeshore Drive. Again, it's a culvert, but one of the things about the culverts, even if the road wasn't on fill at that location, they had to cut to put in that culvert. So what you're seeing is that material eroding, and you've already lost 4 or 5 inches of the asphalt on that particular road. We got one more, I think, one more photo. This is standing on Lakeshore Drive looking at 170th. There's another culvert right here. I think right here. And what's happening is, again, that is probably on natural soil and rock, but where the culvert is, it's been cut, been in a culvert. And I hear, you've got issues all over the county. But I will tell you that these do not get better with every significant rain here. They don't. And they get more expensive to repair with every significant rain. And one of the things, and I'm not saying it's probable, but it's possible, that the right up towards 170th Road, there's an area there, the water comes down. If we had another big rain event like a year ago, what happens if half the road washes out and the low water crossing's full and there's a fire or somebody has a heart attack and you can't get an emergency vehicle in? There's hundreds of people between 170th Road and the low water crossing. And I think that that's a concern. I think it's a concern for the county. So anyway, that's all I've got to say on that. I'd say the best thing to do if you want is go out and take a look at it yourself. But I don't think it's real good that we're in a couple of these areas on fill. It's a mixture of rock and soil. Who knows how that would act, in a big rain.
I just to follow up, Isaac took me out to visit those very sites, and I would agree with you and agree with Isaac. There's safety concerns there.
Yeah, but this thing is.
There's no question that it needs to be addressed. And then in visiting with Bryce, he's also been out there, looked at the situation. He has a plan to address it, and I think his plan is a very appropriate plan to address those issues. It's just, we haven't got there yet. And you're very right in your concern that if we get another event, it's going to make it that much worse and harder to get to.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know that
Sure.
the county does know about it.
Well, like nobody can say if there's going to be a failure or not. There's no way to tell. But I think the opportunity's there.
Yes.
And that's it. The other thing, and I talked to Mr. Coffey about this a month or so ago when I found you at the lake, cornered some of your gas company time. I just wanted to briefly talk about strategic planning, strategic management. I don't know if the county's ever gone through a strategic planning session or not. It's quite lengthy, and there's a lot of work involved. But I will tell you, I've done it myself. I was a general contractor in Garden City, Kansas for 30 years, and we use that strategic planning periodically. I grew it from a 3 or 4 man company to 85 employees, and we worked up as far north as Scottsbluff and down Oklahoma and over to Colorado. So I know it works. We made our plan, we worked our plan. It wasn't easy, it wasn't simple, and it wasn't quick, but it worked. I was also in the director of facilities for a Fortune 100 company, Catholic Health Initiatives at the time. We had 100 hospitals nationwide, and I had responsibility for $30 billion worth of healthcare, and to help standardize how we took care of that. And we did that we started with a strategic plan to help us focus. I was the chairman of Economic Development Corporation in Finney County for 2 years, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and I was on that board for quite a while. We periodically did a strategic plan, and I think Finney County's been fairly successful in their economic development. And lastly, I taught this as an adjunct professor for Friends University. I taught strategic management and strategic planning for undergrad courses at Friends. So I've seen it. I've seen it work. I've seen it work for-profit companies. I've seen it work for not-for-profit entities, and I've seen it work for governmental entities. It works. It focuses everybody in. If you, I'm not here today to do a strategic, to paint a picture of a strategic plan. I think if you're really interested, I'd be more than happy to come back and spend 35, 40 minutes and go through, here's where you start, here's how long you think it might take to do it, but it's going to take some time to even just nail that down. I will tell you this, Mr. Chairman, if you wanted to get a feel of where you are right now, one thing the strategic plan and strategic management does, it gets everybody speaking the same words, the same language, thinking the same direction. And if you wanted to, I've got some 3 to 5 cards that Isaac, the board members, the county clerk, even the county attorney could write down what is the county mission. What's the mission of this group? I don't want to see them. They go straight to you. And I will tell you this, if they don't all line up, you might think maybe we need to do that. But that's your call. If you want that, I've got the cards available, pass them out. 1 sentence, a minute or 2, and then it goes to you.
I think it'd be a good exercise.
Okay. Well then, let's do it. if you pass this down. I bought these, so I'd like any spares back. There you go, just 1 minute, 1 sentence. Most mission statements are 1 sentence. Our mission is to X, whatever that is. Don't sign them. Whatever you do, don't sign them. But when you're done, just pass them to Mr. Mueller, and you can look at those and say, I don't know if we're on track or not, or yes, we are. I think we're in good shape. So, what's your mission? I'll give you a minute to do that, and then I'll close real quickly. You're not writing a book. Just 1 sentence. Unless you have an autobiography that you'd like to add to it. I will say I appreciate your time, I really do. And if you're interested, I'd be more than happy to give an overview of what the process looks like, how much you could expect to spend time, and then you can decide if you're interested or not, and then who to go ahead and approach for that. So,
I appreciate it. I've seen the strategic process in lots of other boards and organizations. I feel it's critical.
if everybody buys into it, it works. It just does. So anyway, if you do this, you know, an organization with a strategic plan has a clear mission, clear objectives that everybody, in this case in the county, Isaac can write, here's what I have to do to help you on this mission. The road and bridge guy says, here's what I have to do to help you on this mission. And that's part of that, the tactics. There's a whole problem-solving process to go through when you encounter, oh, I don't have enough people to do this job. Well, is that really the problem, or is it a policy problem? So anyway, that type of thing. And I think that I've always found it very, very valuable when I've done it or been a part of it. So I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you very much for the information and insight.
Yeah. And again, you know, I can put together an entire dog and pony show too.
I can tell you're passionate about your
Right. Thank you very much.
See, the next time he comes back, he may have a picture of me out there in my gas uniform. I can tell he's
Yeah.
watching, you see.
Yeah, I'd like to get a picture of that too.
Well, if you come back on Friday, he's supposed to have the day off.
Oh.
He's supposed to be cooking. He's supposed to be cooking.
Those are the, those are the prayers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's about 10 cents worth
There
of
you go.
car share, so thank you very much.
Have a good day, Dennis.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, you used more than your 60 seconds. All right, we are ready for planning and zoning. Sharon?
Still. No.
That's interesting. Hello, welcome.
Hi there.
Come on in. Okay, we appreciate you all coming, and we'll let Sharon lead off.
Good afternoon. So, I'm here with case PC 22-02, a request for a conditional use permit for a small firearms and sporting goods and ammunition store located at 1790 Upland, Marion. It's north of the Marion County Lake. With me is the applicant, Mr. Colby Hett, and his family members. Hett intends to resell, to do some gunsmithing, some rebuilding, some reloading ammo, and also process like internet orders. If someone purchases something online that needs paperwork done on it, Mr. Hett has the ability to do that. He has his federal permit, he has his state tax number and all of his paperwork to be able to file taxes for his business. Did everyone have a chance to look over the application and the associated files? Do you have any questions?
Any questions from the commission? I know a couple of us had the opportunity to sit in on the planning commission meeting. I thought the commission was very thorough and the explanations for the situation, again, very thorough to the point. I guess, again, the documentation also supports that. If there were any other questions from the commission?
And the protest period has expired, no protests have been filed.
Okay, that's good.
There's been no other outside comments since the.
Neighbors didn't
time of
complain, huh?
the commission meeting.
There were a couple issues raised, but I think they were all addressed
Mhm.
from the certain neighbors.
Yes.
So, they're very good. If there's no other questions from the commission, I'd ask for approval of the case PC 22-02 for the conditional use permit.
Make a motion to approve the staff recommendation, to approve the conditional use, conditional use permit.
I'll second
Motion by, I'm sorry. go ahead.
Sorry, can I also add that there was a condition
Yes.
on that?
No shooting range.
That's right, to not include a commercial public shooting range. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, no, I appreciate you mentioning that in the motion.
it. There's not very many of those.
Yeah. The condition of the permit would be no commercial shooting.
Right.
Correct. Again, motion by Commissioner Gehring, and the second was by Commissioner Crowfoot. Randy Hawkins.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Sharon, did they discuss, and I'm sorry, I read that over the weekend, and I'm just trying to make sure, had this come up one other place. Test firing for purposes of just checking quality of repair and that kind of thing, was that discussed?
It was, so Mr. Hett uses a small firing range on his property for personal use only.
That's what I was thinking, I just didn't want it to be confusing it with another one, so.
Right.
It was discussed as long as there's no paying customers coming out to
Yeah,
just
no
use it
commercial.
at their leisure.
That's fine, I just want to be sure he was covered,
Right.
because he's gonna have to be able to do that, I would assume, to do
Right.
what he needs to do.
Yep.
so.
Yes, that's a good point.
Is there any timeframes on, and to this permit? For length of time or anything like that?
As far as validity,
As what?
as far as how long it's
It's
valid.
good for.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm. As long as all the conditions are met on the approval, and also that all federal licenses and state licenses are maintained,
that's more or less what I said. What happens if one is violated?
then that would go through the process. First of all, I think that would automatically void the CUP permit,
Okay.
and then it would go through that process for revocation.
Yes. And review,
Right.
and it runs with the applicant, unlike a variance, for example.
If he says the rest of his life, the permit's good, as long as he upholds it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But should he sell, in those circumstances, then the potential for reevaluation of that can occur.
Any other questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you all.
And
Good
there's
luck to you.
a-
Thank you.
She has a resolution, and that also needs to be approved.
Is Jack here today?
Yeah.
This would be just.
Let's not put them all together.
Actually, we need to actually have a motion and a vote for the resolution.
Resolution.
It's
Number
to-
2210.
Pass it on up then, somebody put the official stuff on.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gehring, a second by Commissioner Becker to approve resolution 2022-10. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion carries.
How long has it been since you've done smithing? How long has it been since you've done any gun smithing and stuff?
Oh, several years, state time or something.
We're changed it.
Would you?
Do you too, Dave.
Thank you. Always forget that.
All right.
Okay, so we'll get that resolution published and the permit becomes effective at that point.
Okay. How long does that take, do you know?
It should be published by next Wednesday.
Okay. That's great.
Just in time to get business cards made.
I've already got it made. I'm just waiting.
You were very confident.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank
you. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
That was all I had. Does the commission have anything for me?
Wow. Jonah's gonna find something.
No, I thought I seen something else coming up. Just thought, nope.
Right, thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Do you want to stay around for the discussion on Orsted?
Sure.
Since you're part of that.
We're ready, yeah, we're ready to move into that, so.
Yeah.
That'd be good. Okay, since Road and Bridge isn't here, we're gonna move into the county councilor business, and let's start it with,
Whatever I had.
Well, start it with that person.
Yeah, Jack
Yeah.
and his wife.
That's Jack.
Yeah, that's Rocky's brother.
I try to keep it to a half dozen or less each time. There's 7 today, but I figured the one didn't count with Randy. I just was an opportunist since he was here. I gathered that up. On the Orsted property, we had a conversation, and Commissioner Crowfoot and Commissioner Mueller were both involved in that, along with Sharon and myself, and then there pretty much anyone of interest through Orsted. And this was specifically to discuss issues related to what we would call a parent or personal guarantee on any elements of the facets of security that they were proposing. As we've talked about before, the various numbers haven't changed and what they're willing to do, for example, with 50,000 per turbine, and under certain other circumstances, 130,000 in that range. All of those were consistent with the development agreement that we had prepared. I don't know that this would necessarily
Sticking with the 50,000.
Yeah, a turbine would necessarily need to go into executive.
Right.
It might be good to do, and have Sharon and Tina both in it as well for
Okay.
10 minutes.
This would be.
Would it be contract
Contract
negotiations?
Yes. Attorney-client privilege contract negotiations is our purpose.
So that would be just consultation. attorney?
Yeah.
I don't see anything.
Yeah, the exception is still attorney-client
It would
privilege.
be to discuss contract negotiations pursuant
Okay,
to
number
that
two.
Yeah,
exception.
Gotcha.
Purposes.
I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss contract negotiations
Under the exception of attorney-client privilege.
under the exception of attorney-client privilege pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege with Sharon, Brad, Tina, commission from 2 o'clock to 2:10.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garrett. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We'll be back at 2:10.
One of the things
Just one
is.
second, we're still,
I'm sorry.
the camera's still on, sorry. Takes a couple seconds here.
Camera's on. We appreciate it.
It was blowing when we first got here, it was good.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we are out of executive session. No decisions made. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege with Tina, Brad, Sharon, commission from 2:13 till 2:20. 8. Well, so they're 2:20, it'd be 8 minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Goering. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We'll be back at 2:20.
Call for sure, yeah.
You got a text me to hang
This conference will now be recorded.
We're out of executive session, no decisions made. We're gonna move into another executive session. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege with Sharon, Brad, Tina, the commission. We'll go in at 2:20, we'll go in for 30 minutes, we'll come out at 2:50. Maybe we don't have to go in and out so often. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
on.
Opposed, nay. We'll be back at 2:50.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we are out of executive session, no decisions made, but I would bring forth a motion to allow the chairman to sign contract for purchase of real estate in the amount of $50,000.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Goering. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Abstain.
Motion carried, 4 in favor, 1 abstain. Takes care of that one. All right.
And then we need a signature.
Yes.
Which one is the original document that you want signed?
It has the draft watermark across this, so we're gonna have to review it and just send it to you to have them sign it.
Had to kill another tree.
Just authorize her signature.
Can I authorize you to use my stamp?
Or we can sign this, but it says.
Well, okay, because the signature page say draft.
They all do.
Do you want me to just print off? I can do that.
If you could pull one.
I can.
With that, that'd be fine, because
Okay.
that's all we care about.
We can do that here in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Or if you want to take a short break or.
Yeah, let's just keep going.
Okay. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege. This will be with the commission, Brad and Tina, for 15 minutes. Go in at 2:55, come out at 3:10. Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. We'll be back at 3:10.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. I will ask for a motion to allow the chairman to sign a settlement agreement and mutual release with APM and Air Capital Trucking.
So move.
Second by Commissioner Goering. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. I'll ask for another motion to approve a contract for purchase of real estate in the amount of $25,000, subject to seller's review of the contract.
I will make that motion.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Dahlke, second by Commissioner Goering. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. And this will hopefully be our last executive session. I move that we recess into executive session in order to discuss potential litigation pursuant to KSA 75.
Pending, in this case.
Oh, it is pending.
It's refiled.
My mistake. Pending litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Number two, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege, with the commission, Tina and Brad, for 10 minutes, 3:15 to 3:25. Second by Commissioner Dahlke. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
We will be back at 3:15. But she's got a half an hour before we get there. She's got a lot on here.
Everything's on.
Additional sign, I did a couple of
This conference will now be recorded.
instructions.
Okay, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. Brad, your next item.
Okay, this, I'm gonna hand out a few things here, just really for your records as much as anything. All of these are in Bryce's hands. I wanted some kind of a format that was uniform and made it more easily administrated with our private maintenance on public roadways. So what I'm handing you are both of the, previously I'd given you the culvert policy.
Right.
And then I hope I've just handed out the one that we use for maintenance work on
Yes.
roads. We may have to, and then this is intentional on my part, this one is done as a policy on the culverts, because I don't anticipate the potential, candidly, for the trespass argument to come up as readily on these. It can, because it's still doing something in our public right-of-way, but it's not usually gonna involve the kind of problems if someone's just working on their field access that working on a public roadway would, in terms of traffic, et cetera. So this is a policy, and we may need, if you want it in a resolution form, that's easy for me to do. And in the other one that I've already done as a resolution, which is the road maintenance, we may still want another policy that will look like this. And the reason being that you can delegate this to your county engineer, or that would be the logical person. So that if it is minor in nature, which I know I've heard from several of you, we're getting phone calls from people, and I don't blame them. All I want to do is mow the ditch in front of my house.
Right.
All I want to do is put a little rock where your road and my
Lip.
you know, yeah, you kidding me? I got to come in and do that. I've gotten those calls too now. I don't know how that happened.
Well, I didn't give anyone your number.
And all I want to do, you know, yes, I've got a small hole right in front of where it, you know, there's this dip right where my lane is, and I fix it every year. I fixed it for the last 30 years. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then the other one is, you know, we get those little saplings this time of year.
Yeah.
I want to go in and use a little Tordon and take them out. You're going to make me come in and do this. I'm like, not really. We can go ahead and define, and I've tried to do it in here already to some extent. I didn't define it, but you know, the explanation that major maintenance versus some kind of minor road repair.
Okay, let's hit that point. Where, because I couldn't find.
Well,
the
I
definition.
did that on a separate application.
I thought too, that could be separated out.
And I'm gonna, that's why I'm saying I
Okay.
think we may want a policy
That's coming.
that, yeah, I didn't do it yet because I wanted your instruction before I start handing you a bunch of other paper.
Yeah.
We've already done the resolution. We kept the resolution simple because we really wanted to keep that
Right.
to 2 pages. The policy can be internal but handed to someone who comes in and
Right.
says, all I want to do is mow my grass.
Right.
And then Bryce would have the ability, you know, those are the kinds of things that have been turned over to me. Here's the general policy. And it references all of those kinds of things as examples. If you already need it and you and I agree that you do, that's as far as this is going to go, and you don't have to do an application. That's probably the cleanest way I can do that and make it flexible on both of these.
I've had 5 or 6 phone calls on mowing.
Yep.
We've all had calls.
I think the last one this morning was my 5th, but I just
Right.
quit keeping track on Friday.
Yeah. And they're reasonable
Yeah,
questions.
and no one was,
Perfectly
no
reasonable
one was a
questions.
jerk about it. They were
No.
just like incredulous, and I said,
Yes.
nobody is trying to make more work for anyone
No.
here. We have enough as it is. What we're trying to do is deal with, you know, liability issues and who does what, when, and
It
how.
also keeps tabs on what's
Major
Yes.
work.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if they're coming across and saying, I gotta fix this, and I gotta fix this, and I gotta fix this, okay, well, maybe that should be a signal that maybe we ought to go out and address something.
Yeah. And then, and on the little things, you know, they're like, you guys gonna get to that? No. I'm not even gonna represent to you that that board is saying that they're gonna get to a small hole right in front of your lane that comes out every year about this time, or those saplings that are growing in your ditch for about 100 yards. No. And do I go out with a bush hog and take care of that too? Yes, I do. And I said, so if we're in trouble, we're all in trouble.
We can barely get the hard surface road moved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gravel
So-
we don't touch.
Yeah, I figure
Very seldom
if I
anyway.
take out a tree, I'm probably not endangering anybody.
That's it, and usually,
Yeah.
I can back over a 2-inch with that bush hog and take it right out.
Well, you have
So-
solid tires on skid steer, you can drive it over.
Yeah, yeah.
But the focus is major.
So, the things today, I don't expect any action on this, but I wanted to alert you to it. If you want me to bring back a policy to supplement the resolution we've already done with regard to road maintenance, I will be happy to do that. It's gonna look very much like this, only in a different, dealing with a different issue.
Commission?
I did the culvert only as a policy. If you want them to match, I'll do a resolution, and your policy's already here. The resolution is gonna make sure it's consistent with this.
Is that an agreeable plan for the commission?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that the applications.
And both applications, please look at them. I really got
I've got
the chair's suggestions that I had to some extent already put those in. I did, same kind of thing that Commissioner Becker said. I didn't want that to get to be 6 pages long, because then they're gonna come in here screaming at everybody. So I try to keep it to a page.
If we don't have one, we're telling them to go ahead and mow the ditch.
Right.
I mean, it's time.
Yeah.
They need to be mowing the ditch if they're gonna mow the ditch.
Yeah.
So
Before it gets completely out of hand.
they need to have something in their hand that says, yes, you're good to go.
Yeah.
So we are gonna have them sign, no matter who, come in and sign for mowing the ditches.
Not necessarily, I mean, that's up to you.
The direction I was hearing from the commission is we're going to, the resolution is very short to the point. The permit process is going to be very short to the point. What I'm hearing is Brad is going to work up a policy that'll be more in-depth. The policy then will define what's major, what's minor. And in minor, I think we would all agree that
We don't need to worry about that.
Maintaining
Yeah,
vegetation.
we got the people to.
Is mine.
Right.
And I'll word it as best I can to be clear, but, make it something that gives those minor things some flexibility. I don't want somebody going out there with the, 51cc steel, because that's the only thing that's gonna cut through a 12-inch tree that's somewhere where we're not asking them to go out and fell something. You know what I mean? Because we got liability with that too when they do that. But the little stuff that grows up in all our ditches along there, we're not gonna.
They're doing us a favor.
Yeah, we could possibly keep up with all that, and I don't wanna argue with any of these guys that are willing to do it.
No.
But it's a matter of practicality and me trying to figure out, okay, I'm gonna word this, but I at least wanna give an opening for them to come in and just say, this is all I'm doing. It looks like it fits your policy. Am I okay? Or a phone call. But they at least have something to reference.
Right.
I agree.
And then the second part of this is on the culverts. He's already got the culvert policy. Do you want to proceed with the culvert resolution?
And again, your logic there would be, if you have somebody who goes over the top and does something they shouldn't do, you've got the ability to hand it off to Joel. Whether I'm more comfortable with a resolution than doing it off of a policy, even though trespass is trespass.
This
It's
policy
just,
here is versus illegal work versus legal work.
yeah,
That's all we're talking
yeah,
about.
that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yep.
And we are creating legal work. What we're going to do with those policies is state, we're okay if you do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
But not, things that we've generally outlined in,
Standard is, we did a resolution on the road, so we should do it on the
Yes.
culvert. That's my vote.
Right, it's just we did we did the
I did them
resolution
both ways
first.
so you could see each one.
Yeah.
And you can look through it, tell me, send me an email, obviously not for group distribution, but just let me know if you think, I don't like it, what about this?
Yeah.
Something, that's fine. I'm happy to hear it, because that way I can get you something that's closer to what you want than if I just take a shot and then we're going back to it 3 or 4 times.
But there were a lot of good comments came up in phone calls. There's things to think
Yeah,
about.
honestly, some of them I hadn't thought about either.
Emergency issues, people getting stuck on roads, school buses getting stuck on roads, emergency situations, flood, wind, trees.
Pulling their kid through a bunch of drifts so they can get to school, because they've got, even with a 4-wheel driving truck, they can't get it there. And so they're using a tractor to get them out.
Just give us time, we'll get there.
So,
Very good, thank you.
okay.
Do you have, how many more topics?
That's it. These were if you added those two, that was 6, not counting the earlier one with Brandon Frank, so.
Very good, we got 6 topics. Now we are ready for early checks. Commission has seen the early checks listed earlier, and then we handled a couple of specific issues. So we have early checks in the total amount, $175,489.92. Do I have a motion to approve?
Approve.
Commissioner Dalkey had his hand up.
All right, motion to approve?
And I had cut to Commissioner Becker second.
Oh.
No, sorry. No. Commissioner Garing second.
Oh. I was blind.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Early checks will be paid.
Here's that agreement. Stop it.
And then it's started.
You know, if you can't perform, get more stuff back. That's what it is. Notice it always says the county clerk.
Because I have complete confidence.
Because it's done, it's efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
Looks like this one.
Can you sign it?
Nope, this is the one where he wanted our signature first. Now I have this in order. So we can quickly zip that on. I can forward that to Cherry right now.
Okay.
what you got there?
Oh,
So
that's,
what you need to-
Insurance.
insurance stuff.
Okay. Anything else,
Yeah.
Tina? Anything else for that?
Yeah, but not that I brought it with me.
So,
We're on a roll.
are we looking at potentially this week?
Yes.
Yeah, he hasn't responded yet, but I expect to hear from him, and once I do, all of you will hear from him. Sharon indicated the only time she has is Thursday, but she, of course, didn't have to be here. I disagreed and said, oh, no, you get to be here too. So,
All right, so with that, public forum, there's no one here. I'm guessing no one has had the patience to stay on the line. Commission comments, I believe Commissioner Becker would like to
Yeah.
bring something up.
One comment. Last week, we voted to not encumber any money from water districts out of ARPA funds. At this point, we haven't encumbered a good portion of the money that we have. I would like to see that stay open-ended. If we encumber all of it, fine. If we don't, I would like to still see them get some consideration.
Because I'm all right with leaving them
On the list.
to be thought about, but right, as of now, I'd like to keep their columns to 0.
I just hate to see anything taken off of a list unless we see it encumbered 100%.
It'd be different if they were building lines back to other water facilities, then it would be truly a rescue, in my opinion. Infrastructure built on the back.
Everybody's welcome to their opinion.
Any other comments on the subject?
I just say don't, and I'm not even talking about just water. Don't take anything off the table until we hit 100% encumbered.
Well, I think all commissioners will agree on that.
I do too.
This, who knows what could come up, like yet today. Brad?
say what? I'm sorry, I'm still trying to communicate with everybody.
I lost control a long time ago. But very good comments, Commissioner Becker, appreciate that, and I hope all commissioners will keep that in mind as we move forward.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
One more. The Reno Drive thing. The way.
Mr. Dalkey, did you follow up on any of those recommendations? Didn't you ask for recommendations?
You know,
References?
I don't really. The way he left the meeting the other day, I just say that, I'm not really interested in ever hearing from him again.
Well, I was gonna make that motion before, today, if we're still can, make the motion to, whether we want them to come back again or not.
Can we have a general consensus that the commission is?
Just my general consensus, they don't need to return.
Me too.
We got a commission consensus that
I mean,
negative response to.
Take a lifetime to get a customer, you can have 1 second and lose them. Yeah, and that was 1 second too far.
He's gonna ask why, and we'll give him whose phone number.
Go ahead, send it here, I'll tell them, you acted, that's not how you do it.
Okay, Commissioner Dahlke, aren't you glad I didn't recognize your motion to adjourn?
I would now make that, sir.
I will recognize it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Dahlke. Second, Commissioner Garing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We are adjourned.
Sorry to steal your thunder there, Randy.
These are gone.
Here's the Windsor contract. You signed it, sorry, I already got it. I think we were trying to get the settlement agreement de-draftified for you to sign,
Okay.
since that was approved
How
for
about, can I
signature.
run to the pharmacy and then come back?
Yep. Oh,